class. Dave isn't sure why, but she said the word underwear. Underwear. The class burst out laughing. Underwear is not funny, she said. That made the class laugh even harder. As Dave was cracking up, he got an idea. He started thinking about the word underwear. I remember thinking that it's an amazingly powerful word that can make everyone laugh. I should do something with that. Can you guess what Dave did? Let's go back in time a little bit. Dave was just a regular kid in Cleveland, Ohio. He had a lot of friends, but school was a challenge for him. It was hard. Dave couldn't read as well as his classmates. When the teacher would call kids to the front of the room to read out loud, Dave would think, "Oh no." He could hear the other kids groan. They knew he would struggle to get through the words, and his reading would take a while. He just hated reading out loud like that. He also got in trouble a lot. He had a hard time paying attention. Almost every day, his second-grade teacher would point to the door. "Mr. Pilkey, out," she'd say. Dave would have to go sit at a desk in the hall. He would sit there by himself for a few hours. He hated being separated from the rest of the class. It was lonely. It turns out that Dave had a hard time reading and paying attention for a reason. He had ADHD and dyslexia. Those are two conditions that make it hard to focus and learn. But soon, he discovered something. He could draw and write stories at that desk in the hall. He may have had trouble with reading, but he was great at drawing. He drew and drew. He got a lot of practice, and he got better. He started making up his own stories. Soon, he started making his own comics. Dave made his very first comic book in second grade. It starred a character named Dogman. Dogman would get hit by lightning if the town needed a superhero. Suddenly, Dogman would have superpowers, and he could save everyone. Dave drew another comic too. He was thinking about the word underwear. It had the power to make people laugh. He drew a man in a pair of underwear. Dave called him Captain Underpants. Dave began to show his comic books to his friends. The other kids loved them. His teacher did not agree. Sometimes she would take them away and rip them up. Luckily, Dave's parents thought the comics were wonderful. They asked him if he would make a series of comic books just for them. And he did. Dave created many comic books. His parents saved them, and he still has them today. Dave struggled with school for many years. People didn't know very much about ADHD and dyslexia back then. Now we know that people learn in different ways. When Dave became an adult, he started publishing children's books. He would go to schools and talk to kids about being a writer. He told them how he used to sit in the school hallway. Dave noticed something. Whenever he mentioned his old comic, Captain Underpants, everyone would crack up. "Are you ever going to make a book about Captain Underpants?" the kids would ask. Maybe I should do that, he thought. And he did. So far, Dave has written and illustrated 12 Captain Underpants books and 9 Dogman books. He has created many other books too, and is working on his newest graphic novel series, Cat Kid Comic Club. Dave says, "You don't have to fly to have superpowers. Superpowers can be your creativity or your imagination." What will you find in Dave's books? Flip-O-Rama. A lot of Dave's books have action scenes. You flip through them. This makes the drawings move like an animated cartoon. Kid drawings. Dave has two kid characters named George Beard and Harold Hutchins. In his books, they draw Captain Underpants and Dogman. So a lot of the artwork in those books has to look like it was done by kids. Lots of laughs. Some of Dave's books are serious, but most of them are funny. Dave thinks it's good for books to be fun and to make you laugh.